Can Florida make real noise this season? Are the Ole Miss Rebels still serious CFP contenders? There's some of the questions. Hey, what are the most intimidating environments that Eltoro Freeman ever played in? We got to talk about that. Who are the best defensive players in the SEC? And for the love of God, can we stop worrying about things that don't matter? It's that college football show. Let's go. Welcome to that college football show in the Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC studios. I am JJ, Jeremy Jeffcoat, a longtime broadcaster, former host of Southern Sports Tonight, host of Sports Blitz Live, the AHSAA Radio Network scoreboard show. And he is former Auburn national champion linebacker, the one and only Eltoro Freeman. How you doing, big dog?
Doing good, Jay. How you doing, man?
Man, I am good to go. Man, I am so pumped because I realized that like 3 weeks we're gonna be watching football. Actually, we're gonna be watching football in 2 weeks, but in 3 weeks we'll be watching SEC football, which is, the football that matters, at least around this show.
Without a question, without a question, Jay. Exciting times for sure.
Yeah. Now, if my face looks a little red, for those of you who understand anything about the broadcast business, we had an event today at a car dealership. And I spent 3 hours out on the asphalt, out in the sun today. So I got cooked up pretty good, man. I mean, I spent 3 hours in the oven. So if my face looks red, I'm healthy. I'm okay. I'm just a little bit burned up. All right, Eltoro, we got a great show tonight. We're going to talk a lot of college football tonight. There's a lot going on, and the fall camps are going. Scrimmages happening now, and we're going to talk about some of that. But I wanted to start and just have a little fun because it occurred to me we're in talking season, right? From about media days through about halfway through camp, we get talking season, and people talk about some things that are interesting, and then people talk about some things that just do not matter at all, right? And so I want to go through a few of those because they're driving me crazy. Now, Eltoro, I'm not going to call out a fellow podcaster, at least by name, right? But he knows who he is, and he knows what he did. Who made a social media post over the weekend, or video over the weekend, or over the last week, where he talked about the team pictures that were published by Auburn University and the University of Alabama. And these are the pictures that he put up there. Now, I look at him and I go, okay, team pictures. But apparently he felt like the fact that Auburn's was squared up with the straight lines and Alabama's was more of the non-linear things, that actually meant something. And I think he made the comment that, Auburn wins picture day or something like that, right? What in the world? Because here's the thing, Eltoro, and you've taken team pictures, so you know this. The head coach isn't designing this. The coaching staff isn't designing. All they're thinking about is getting to practice. They just want to get it over with. So you have somebody in the sports information department, usually somebody that's in charge of like graphics and photographs for the programs and all of that sort of stuff. And they come out and they go and they're all different. And they go, hey, let's straighten this line up. Hey, let's straighten this. Let's make a perfect square on this one. And then you have another one who goes, yeah, I kind of like the non-linear look. Let's have it going a little bit in and out. It'll be kind of cool that way. This is how photographers think, right? This is how producers think. It's how the coaching staff isn't going, okay, everybody get up in the stand wherever you want to, and let's just get this. That's not how it works, Eltoro. Any thoughts?
Well, yeah, Jay, listen, Jay, how you do anything is how you do everything. You know what I mean? So as we both can see, you can see our Auburn Tigers. Well, my Auburn Tigers will pay attention to detail. You understand what I'm saying, Jay? Because it all matters, Jay. So once again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So I'm proud of my Auburn Tigers for focusing and being disciplined on detail, because it all matters, Jay. And that podcaster, he's exactly right. Auburn won. Auburn dominated picture day without a question.
All right. So you say it does matter. I say it means nothing. I mean, maybe less than nothing. Is there something less than nothing?
Jay, it's the little things. It's the little things, Jay. If you get the little things right, you got a chance, Jay.
The philosopher, I think it was Plato. Do you know how he described what nothing is? He said, nothing is what rocks dream about.
Nothing.
All right, I'm going to go through some more because there's more. It drives me crazy. Things that do not matter. Before I go any further on it, though, I want to take a minute, recognize our anchor sponsor. You see him down there in the corner. Glenn Smith Chevrolet GMC. They're in Opelika, Alabama. Your truck headquarters for Georgia and Alabama and North Florida. People from all over the South come to Glenn Smith because their massive selection, 500 to 600 vehicles on the lot, ready for immediate delivery, deep discounts, and a pre-owned selection that's great. They've got everything from, gas-sipping economy cars to big old family haulers to sports cars, economy cars, whatever it is. They're going to help you out, and they're going to get you a great deal on it. You can check them out online at glennsmith.com, GLYNN-Smith.com, and see what a real selection looks like. All right, here's some more stuff that does not matter. Scrimmage stats. They do not matter. And I'm gonna give you an actual example of why they do not matter. Last week, Alabama held their first scrimmage of the fall camp. And we all know there's a big quarterback battle going on, Austin Mack and Keelan Russell. So I'm looking on Twitter after the scrimmage, and there are people going, well, Keelan Russell threw 1 touchdown pass today, but Austin Mack threw 3 touchdown passes. Okay. Here's why it doesn't matter. Nick Kelly, who's an outstanding writer at AL.com, covers Alabama for AL.com, he was at the scrimmage, and he said of the people he talked to, not a single person thought that Austin Mack had the better scrimmage, including one NFL scout who was there who said Keelan Russell's a better player that's not that close in his mind. So somebody threw 3 touchdowns, somebody threw 1 touchdown. That's not what's going to decide this quarterback competition. It's like this. It's team on team crime, right? If you go to the Auburn scrimmage, when Auburn has their scrimmage and the defense is light years ahead of the offense, that's normal. Offense takes a little longer to gel. So if Auburn holds their scrimmage and the offense, turns the ball over 3 times, so what? It means the defense was creating turnovers. That's good for your defense, right? And iron sharpens iron should make your offense better. But people look at these scrimmage stats and go, well, this quarterback went 14 to 17 for 220 yards and 4 touchdowns. He's obviously the best player on the team, when in reality, he may be the third teamer.
That's true, Jay.
Against threes. It's different, And so scrimmage stats, to me, are what rocks dream about, Eltoro.
I'm with you on that one, Jay. I have to agree with you without a question.
So here's another one. A third string running back runs for 110 yards on 9 carries, right? Oh, he busted 2 big runs. I mean, he's really emerging. And then the second game comes and people go, well, where's the guy at? Well, he was 13 for a reason. Because the scrimmages aren't the only practices. There's a month of this. And so the scrimmages are there to give you a look at how they operate in a game. It's there to give you a look at how the coaches and the players are communicating as they go through this process in a game-like atmosphere. But scrimmages, the stats, right? They don't mean anything. Because if you've got, I guarantee you, I don't know who the left tackle is. Well, I think it's Trevor Gooseby for Texas. But when they scrimmage, he's probably going up against Colin Simmons. And I don't care how good he is. Colin Simmons is going to get you, right? He's
without a question.
Not every play, but he's going to get you more than you get him.
No, without a question.
You go, well, our left tackle sucks, right? No, he's going against Colin Simmons. Mm-hmm. Colin Simmons may be the first overall pick in the next draft. So it's one of those things, and we worry about these scrimmages, and we look at these numbers and the stats, and we go, oh, this means something. It rarely means anything.
Right. It definitely can be tricky, Jay, because you never know what personnel is in when that individual is getting those stats, So it definitely can be can be a tricky deal. So I agree with you again, Jay, 100%.
And you don't know too. I mean, you don't know what limitations the coaching staff has put on the coordinators, right?
True.
Are they, all right, listen, I don't want to run this package in the scrimmage because we're not ready for that yet. Let's stick to these packages. Those kind of things that coaches have a tendency to do because you want to be able to evaluate it. And you can't evaluate it if it's not controlled. You have to control the situation.
Correct.
And let's go into another one because this one too. And I love preseason polls. In fact, later in the show, we're going to do our own first preseason poll. I think you guys are going to like that. But they don't matter. And people get mad. And they go, oh, my team should not be ranked 20th. They should be ranked first, or what? Win your games. You know what
Absolutely.
I mean? Win your games, man.
Absolutely.
I mean, most people have Missouri somewhere between 23 and 30, right? I guarantee you, if Missouri runs off 10 wins this year, they're going to be in the playoff.
They're going to be there. Simple. Yeah.
Yeah. It's that simple. Win your damn games. And then we don't have to worry about it anymore. So preseason polls, look, again, I'm not criticizing preseason polls. I think they create a lot of excitement, a lot of interest. People like them. They're fun. But in terms of actual football, they don't mean anything.
I'm with you, Jay.
Eltoro, we are moving into season previews. We've only got 2 left. We've done 14 season previews.
How about that?
Through just the first, 2.5 weeks of the show. 3 weeks of the show. The first one I want to talk about tonight is those Florida Gators. Now, you and I know we did a quarterback competition thing on them. We've talked about them some. We talked about John Summerall and what happened with him at media days and the cell phone and all of that. But let's get on the field with the Florida Gators because there's some stuff going on in addition to the quarterback situation. I think the biggest question mark to me anyway on this team is can the offensive line perform? Because last year the offensive line did not perform well.
Right.
Coming out of spring, John Summerall even said at his closing press conference after the spring scrimmage, said that we've got to get a lot better on the offensive line this summer or we got no chance. Can the offensive line perform? Because you've got Jaden Baugh back there who, with a bad offensive line last year, ran for 1,200 yards. Mm-hmm. If you get the offensive line better, man, it's gonna be something.
Without a question, Jay. And I think they're pretty good, like in the interior. But it's those tackles, Jay, is the question mark, man. I think they're having a lot of, pretty much competition this fall. Trying to figure out, who can anchor that those tackle position, man, because that's going to be a very, very vital part of the offense, man. Especially, with the quarterback battle and things of that nature, man. But I'll tell you one thing they got going for them, Jay, and you just called it, is the running game. They got the running game. They got the running back. You know what I mean? And I think that's going to be Florida identity on offense.
I think it has to be, Buster Faulkner comes over and he's done a multitude of things. People are most familiar with him because of Haynes King at Georgia Tech running the ball from the quarterback spot. But he's also lit people up for 400 yards passing too. Buster Faulkner can go any number of ways. He doesn't have a set offensive, lean. He can kind of adjust to his people. So I think that'll be interesting to watch what their identity becomes. You and I talked about the quarterback competition. You've got 2 guys who play the game a little bit differently. You got Tramell Jones Jr., who is very efficient, right? And probably plays the game a little bit like Julian Sayin at Ohio State, right? He's not afraid to take the check down. He's not going to throw into coverage very often. He's going to manage the game very well. But then you got the other kid who's a gunslinger who loves to throw it downfield, maybe even overestimates his own arm a little bit. So you got 2 different quarterbacks. I think whichever one emerges as the starter is going to dictate, maybe to a great degree, how Buster Faulkner calls this offense.
Without a question, man. And I think that guy's going to be Aaron Follow, man. Just because of the familiarity he have with the offense. I think it's going to be but I do think this now, Jay. I think the competition is still going to be going on, at least until week 3 when they play Auburn University. But I think Follow gets the call, man, and you just see from there, man, and see if he's able to, make the check downs and not force anything, because I think those are the things that have been getting them in trouble. But I do think Aaron Follow would take the starting spot come week 1.
You're absolutely right. Those are the things that have gotten in trouble with DJ Lagway, right? Because I mean, we saw him, throwing 5 interceptions in the game last year, just forcing the ball where it didn't need to be forced. And I think if Philo can clean that up, if he can keep that playmaking mentality where he's looking for it,
but not forcing
it, right? I think that's going to be a big key for the Florida Gators this year. All right, so let's get to it. Floor and ceiling on the Gators. It's not the easiest schedule in the world. I want to run down the schedule real quick. It's not the easiest schedule in the world, but there's opportunities there. I mean, they open up Florida Atlantic and Campbell. That's 2 wins. You mentioned they go to Auburn. Then they host Ole Miss in week 4. They got Missouri and Columbia. They've got South Carolina. That's in Gainesville too. They got Texas, but they got to travel there. They got Georgia. That game's going to be in Atlanta. They get Oklahoma in Gainesville. Lexington. They go to Lexington for Kentucky. They go to Gainesville. Gainesville for Vanderbilt, and then they get Florida State. They got to go to Tallahassee for that. So some of the good teams that they're playing, teams like Oklahoma, right? I'm looking at that game, and I'm going, Ole Miss is in Gainesville. Oklahoma's in Gainesville. I don't care that they won 4 games last year. They also beat Texas in the Swamp. The Swamp is serious business, man.
Absolutely. Man, Jay, I'm telling you, man, the key game is Auburn University week 3. That's the key game for them, Jay, because then they going into they can go into Oklahoma. Texas. I think Texas is the 6th game of the season, if I'm not mistaken.
6, 7, somewhere in there.
Okay. Well,
6, 7 as the kids like to say.
mean, they beat Auburn, Jay. They can pretty much go in this thing pretty much undefeated. I think they may have Ole Miss before Texas.
They did. Well, they have Ole Miss the week after they have Auburn.
Okay.
That's also though the week after Ole Miss plays LSU. So it's a trap game.
That's a trap game. Absolutely, man. Auburn is big for Florida, Jay. Auburn is big for Florida, man.
If Florida goes to Auburn and loses, then I think this is a 7 or 8 win team.
Correct. I'm with you.
If they go to Auburn and win though, the ceiling goes maybe 9-10. You know what I mean?
Without a question.
Because that's not going to be an easy place for them to go win.
Oh, absolutely not.
I think Florida, like you said, win that Auburn game, and I'm buying stock in Florida, no question.
Absolutely.
What loss? I mean, I don't think the Auburn loss derails the season, but is there a loss in there that derails the season? Because when I look at it, I think if you go to Missouri, look, if you lost to Auburn and then Ole Miss comes to Gainesville and beats you in a competitive game, I'm not holding that too far against you. But if you lose 3 in a row, you lose to Missouri in that next one, the wheels could come off there. And now you're looking at 6-6 or 5-7, right?
That can't happen, Jay. That can't happen for the Gators at all.
They got to do it.
Oh, they got to do it. They have no room for error if they don't. Like if they lose to Auburn and then turn around and lose to Ole Miss, they have to go on a run, man. And because I think they have, who they have after Missouri.
Let me pull the schedule back up here. Let's see. After Missouri, they get South Carolina.
South Carolina. That's, oof.
Yeah. And that's before they go to Texas. So if you lose to Missouri, how are you going to beat South Carolina?
Yeah, that's right.
If you lose to Missouri and South Carolina in the situation we're talking about, you've lost 4 in a row.
Right.
And then you go to Texas, you're going to get your head handed to you, man.
Yeah. They'd be in a bad position, Jay, if that happens.
I don't expect it. I'm expecting Florida to be good this year, and maybe I'll be proven wrong, but I think Florida, to me, the floor on this team, if it just some things aren't working, and you know, maybe the offensive line's not very good. Maybe 6-6, but I think the ceiling is 10 wins.
Absolutely.
There are people watching right now going, "This guy's out of his mind." I'm telling you, if they play at their best with those coordinators and the talent they have on the defensive front, and the talent they have at wide receiver, and the talent they have at running back, this could be a 10-win team when we look up at the end of the year.
I agree with you 100%, Jay.
Eltoro, our final season preview of this preseason, and we saved maybe the craziest for last, right? The LSU Tigers and Lane Kiffin. That's who we're talking about here. Listen, LSU hires Lane Kiffin. They paid, whatever, $50 million to fire Brian Kelly. They're paying Lane Kiffin $13 million this year, so make it $63 million. And they're spending $40 million or so on the roster. So now you're at a roughly $100 million that you've spent on this football season. Eltoro, I know Lane keeps going, well, it's year one, and sometimes it takes time to do. No, you spent $100 million. They want to win right now.
Yes, definitely, Jay. And I'm telling you right now, Jay, they are in position to do so. I mean, I think they have one of the best tight ends in college football. The guy is 6'7". He is a mismatch across the field. I mean, from linebackers. I mean, this guy is going to be utilized to the max. Then you go over on the defensive side. What they was able to do in the transfer portal is unbelievable, man. They got a Benningfield, I think, from Boise State. This guy is a very high Q guy. I mean, he was all conference. This guy, and then they got them guys at corner. I mean, they got size. They got linebackers. Man, this could be a really, really scary team, Jay.
I'm going to say something that I think a lot of LSU fans are going to get pissed off about, and I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But Whit Weeks, the linebacker, I think is a good player. I think he's just a good player. I think he's one of the more overrated players in the league, if I'm being honest. I don't see him as a elite linebacker, and I know a lot of LSU people do. I also, and this is just me, and again, Lane Kiffin could prove me wrong, because Lane Kiffin is one hell of a quarterback coach and one hell of a play caller. And then so is Charlie Weiss Jr. I don't see Sam Levitt as an elite quarterback. I see Sam Levitt as a good quarterback. When he was at Arizona State, when they went to the playoffs 2 years ago, Cam Scadaboo was running that. And Sam Levitt was fine. Last year, I know he had injuries and stuff, but he's never put up elite performances. And I think with Lane Kiffin there, everybody just assumes that we're going to get elite Sam Levitt. I don't know that that's there.
Does you think he has to be great? I'm sorry, do you think he has to be great?
Great. I think he has to be, for them to make the playoffs, right, and win a game or two in the playoffs, right, which I think is what LSU people are kind of wanting to happen. I think I don't know if he has to be great, but he has to be very good, because we saw this last year. Austin Simmons at Ole Miss last year was the projected starter, had won the job in fall camp. Austin Simmons had played the year before and looked good, and he didn't look bad at the start of last year. But then when Trinidad comes in, it goes to another level. If Austin Simmons doesn't get hurt, we never get to see Trinidad during the season. Ole Miss is not in the semifinals of the college football playoff. So I don't know if he has to be elite for them to win at a high level, but he's got to be very good. And I think he's just good. And like I said, Lane Kiffin probably going to share this and then prove me wrong in the season, go 12-0 or something.
With his supporting cast around him, from the O-line, from the things they got, in the portal at receiver, and that tight end is a difference maker. You know what I mean? He is that tight end is a game changer. Remind me, it could be like the Brady and Gronk situation, But I know Brady is great, of course, but I think the tight end made him even, better than what he is. And I think it could be the case for LSU, So it all depending on how well is the chemistry, how well they gel under the first year coaching of Lane Kiffin. And if they're able to gel and they're able to get the time and the things of that nature down, Jay, look out.
I want to talk about their schedule, and I want to talk about a couple of more things about LSU. Before we do, though, See the banner down here? That is Southeastern Land Group. They have 80 land agents across 10 states. And if you're buying or selling rural land in the Southeast, whether it's farmland or timberland or whatever, that they are the people to call. They're the experts. They know this stuff like the back of their hand. And right now, buying land is a big thing around this country. Buying land represents freedom, right? We're 250 years in this country. Southeastern Land Group are the people to call. You'll see the website down there, selandgroup.com, selandgroup.com. They also have a great radio show, the Southeastern Land Show, that's heard on multiple radio stations. So if you get a chance to check that out, selandgroup.com is where you're going to find all that information. All right, let's continue with LSU here because they retained Blake Baker, the defensive coordinator. I like Blake Baker. He's very aggressive. But man, he'll give up some big plays. I mean, he'll give up a big play. I wonder because Lane's coming from working with Pete Golding, a little more bend don't break. This is a different kind of philosophy that Lane's walking into with his defensive coordinator. Does that even make a difference, or does Lane go, "Hey, just do what you do, man"?
Well, I think Lane will just let him do what he do until it's causing issues, and if he have to, dial it down some, then I think that he had to make that necessary adjustment. But as a right off, Jay, I expect them to be very aggressive, especially with the talent they have. I think they have the talent to be aggressive. You know what I mean? I think they have the playmakers on the back end, to not give up things. I think so I think with his scheme, I think it fits them perfectly, just with their makeup and what they have for the players.
All right, let's take a look at the schedule because they opened with Clemson. Did you see Dabo Swinney last week? Did you see his press conference?
I didn't get to see it, Jay.
Okay. Classic Dabo Swinney, and it's like classic Dabo Swinney. Reporter asked him, do you have anybody kind of that's emerging in camp that is surprising you with how far they've come and how much they've grown and how good they've been? And he said, no, not really. He said, we got a bunch of nobodies. He said, we're going to have to wait until we play some games and see if any of them become somebodies.
I don't
just little old Clemson.
Yeah. Well, how you feel about that, Jay?
I'm not a fan of it. And the thing is, I can see it once in a while. You go like, look, we don't. I need more out of my guys. They're not giving me anything yet that makes me think any of them are special. I need to see it on the field. I do get that, but he does this every year.
Yeah,
he did it when he was winning national championships, right? I mean, he did it with the whole Roy bus thing. They had the first bus and then they had the rest of y'all. I was on the rest of y'all, but yeah, he did that then. So I don't know. To me, it gets a little old, but he's going to Baton Rouge in game one. And we'll see what happens there. They get a Louisiana Tech game too. Did they go to Oxford to Ole Miss? Now, if LSU is going to be the kind of elite championship competing team that people are talking about, I think they got to win in Oxford, man.
Oh, without a question. Without a question, Jay. They have to win that game. I mean, if they don't, man, you're gonna get some side eyes, Jay, for sure.
Yeah, and then they come back home and face Texas A&M. That game's at Baton Rouge.
That's not an easy one, Jay.
That's a very good team, man.
Yeah, man.
That's a very good team to have to play right after you play Ole Miss. Turn around after that, and they get McNeese State. They get Kentucky, but they got to go to Lexington for that. They get Mississippi State in Baton Rouge. They get Auburn in Auburn. Watch out for that game.
Absolutely.
It's right before the bye week. They will have played 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That will be their 8th game in a row without a break.
Hey, let me ask you this, Jay. If they lose that Ole Miss game, what do you see their season?
8-4.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah. I'm kind of leaning that way anyway. I think that Auburn game you got to watch out for. They get Alabama in Baton Rouge. Lane Kiffin wants to win that game because that guy has been angling for the Alabama job for 3 years, but he was never going to get it. Probably feels a little disrespected. That comes after a bye week in Baton Rouge with Alabama. They get Texas, but they get them in Baton Rouge. So at least they have home field going. They get Tennessee and Knoxville, and they finish on the road at Fayetteville with Arkansas. So LSU, to me, it's like, show me what happens in week 3. If you go to Oxford and get a win, then I think you're fighting for the playoffs. If you go to Oxford and lose, I think you're probably 8-4, and people are talking about wait till next year.
Right. I agree 100%.
And look, I love asking this question, man. You riding or fading the Tigers? I'll tell you right now, I'm leaning more 8-4 than I am 10-2, so I'm fading the Tigers.
With the home games, Jay, Lane Kiffin, I'm riding with the Tigers, Jay.
Okay. We're going to see. That's the fun part about the season is we're going to see. It'll give us something to talk about a little later, right?
Absolutely.
JJ and Eltoro, listen, look down below me here. If you see that subscribe button, click it, hit the like button, leave a comment. All of that helps us. Doesn't cost you anything, takes just a few seconds, and helps us out a great deal, and helps us keep, doing this every week. All right, let's talk, Eltoro, about defensive players, something you know a little bit about, my friend. All right, let's get into this. I have a list of what I believe are the 5 best defensive players in the Southeastern Conference in 2026. And I just want to see what you think of them, okay? What you think of the list. I'm going to start out at number 5, and I know a lot of people are going to think that I'm rating this guy too low, but I'll explain. Number 5 to me, Dylan Stewart, edge rusher, South Carolina. He may wind up being a top 10 draft pick. He's that kind of freak athlete. He's 6'5", 250. He had 4.5 sacks last year. Now, I know he didn't have a lot of help on the defense. He had 3 forced fumbles. It's a big deal. Not taking anything away from that. I have Dylan Stewart at number 5 with a chance to rise. But right now, and you'll see why when you hear the other guys, but right now I have Dylan Stewart at 5.
I think you got him too low, Jay.
I think most people are going to think that, but
I'm gonna wait to hear the rest of your guys.
Yeah. You got to hear the rest of my guys. By the way, I think all 5 of these guys are going to be first-round picks next year. By the way.
Oh, absolutely.
Number 4, Xavier Adkins from your Auburn Tigers. Transferred from LSU a couple of years ago, a junior now. 84 tackles, 17 for loss, and 9 sacks a year ago. He's not the biggest guy, 6 feet 210, but he flies. I mean, he flies to the football. Xavier Adkins is a monster.
I love him, Jay. I love him. He is a football player. You got some guys that can do this and that, and you just got some guys that just can play the game of football. He is one of them. He is a football player, man. Love to watch him play.
If you've watched Xavier Adkins at Auburn, then you know this, but the energy he plays the game with, man. And he knows what he's doing. So it's not like blind energy, right? He's not just running around being wacky. The dude knows his responsibilities. He knows this defense. DJ Durkin trusts him and turns him loose on everything. And again, not the biggest dude at 6 feet 210. I still think as an off-ball linebacker, I still think he finds his way in the second half of the first round. Because I just think he's that kind of playmaker, man. Without a question. Number 3, the third best player on my list of best SEC defenders, Ellis Robinson at Georgia. Defensive back, 6 foot 180, corner, 4 interceptions last year. He is the spiritual leader of that Georgia defense. Ellis Robinson is the guy who kind of everybody looks to make plays. And Ellis Robinson makes plenty of them. Again, 4 picks a year ago. This is a guy that can cover. This is a guy who can track the ball. And at 6 feet 195. No, 180. Sorry, 180. Big corner with wheels.
I like him. He's a ball player as well, Jay. Hey, and you know what, Jay? I like what you got him at too, Jay. I like him at 3.
Yeah, you're gonna find that the guys that I pick are generally guys who I think are just like, it's not the most freakish athlete. It's the football player, right? I want to see the football player.
Yeah.
Number 2 on my list of top 5 defensive players in the Southeastern Conference for 2026. is cornerback Zabian Brown at Alabama. Zabian Brown is 6 feet, same height as Ellis Robinson, but he's damn near 200 pounds. They list him at 195. He's a good sized corner. 2 interceptions and a forced fumble in 2025. By the way, both of those interceptions were pick sixes. He took a 99-yard pick six on Tennessee right before the half, and took that pick six against Oklahoma in the playoffs. In fact, he had a pick six the year before as a freshman, and so that gives him now 3 career pick sixes. This dude's a ball magnet. He gets after the ball. He can cover man to man. He's great in zone. He's great at tracking the quarterback's eyes. He's smart. Zabian Brown, to me, I think Leonard Moore at Notre Dame will be the first corner off the board, but I think Zabian Brown has a chance to be the second corner off the board.
Yeah, I tell you, man, that Alabama secondary is strong, man. I mean, they got some players on that back end for sure.
Yeah, and I mean no disrespect to Bray Hubbard by not putting him on this list. But
Hey, Jay, I want to say, I was like, wow, that's unbelievable, Jay, that you picked the guy before Hubbard. I mean, that guy there, I was going to mess with you about that, Jay. This guy here, man, is for real, man. You know,
if we were doing top 10, he'd be on there. I just say it. I think Zabian Brown is like a classic cover corner, right? At 6 feet, 195. He's just and again, 3 pick sixes.
Jay, that man, hey, you can't deny that. The guy, he's doing his thing, Jay. But Jay, you just said now, I picked the football players, man. It ain't about the stats and all that. Jay, you just told me, you mean to tell me if you picking football players, you're gonna leave Hubbard out at the safety of Alabama? Are you kidding me? This guy is a real deal football player, Jay. Explain.
I only had 5. I only had 5. Maybe Bray is number 6 if I was doing top 6. I don't know. I didn't go that far. I just went with 5. All right. Listen, I figured you would appreciate Bray Hubbard because he is one of those guys that's like all effort all the time.
Yes,
guy, and I think he took a lot of heat in that Florida State game because he didn't look good in that game. And he turned his season around, man. I mean,
he responded.
They went on that 8-game win streak, and he was a huge part of that.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. My number 1 defensive player in the SEC in 2026, I don't think anybody's going to argue with me, is edge rusher Colin Simmons at Texas.
Absolutely. Hey, I had to throw the horns up, Jay. I mean, you couldn't got that wrong, Jay. This guy, that kid, first step, man, is unreal. I mean, it's unreal, man. You know what I mean? 12 sacks last year. Are you kidding me? Yeah, this kid is the real deal, Jay. Love your number one. For sure. 6'3",
245, 12 sacks last year, 3 forced fumbles too. He's just he is almost like you're going to go in a lab and you're going to create an edge rusher. If he were 6'5", he'd be one of the great edge rushers of all time. He still might be in college football. But man, Colin Simmons is just, he's one of those players. They used to say this. I remember a coach saying this about Lawrence Taylor back in the day with the New York Giants. You have to game plan for that guy.
Yeah.
You have to game plan for that guy, or he's going to wreck whatever you're trying to do.
Mm-hmm.
And, if you specifically, I need to know where that guy is, and I need to have a plan for how we're going to block him, or you're screwed.
Oh, yeah. He's that type of guy, Jay. Definitely that type of guy. He's the real deal, man. He will cause problems for anybody in the country, man, sticking that dude. I'm going to tell you another thing. He is going to cause double teams, Jay. I mean, you cannot one-on-one. This kid is for real.
Yeah, no question. And matter of fact, if you're an offensive tackle out there who's got to play Texas this year,
oh wow,
just remember this: if you put good tape out there against Colin Simmons, you're going to make some money at the next.
Wow, hey, that's a great way to look at it. Hey, you absolutely right, bro.
If you put out some good tape against that dude, there's going to be some GMs in the league looking at you. I can promise.
Absolutely.
Okay, Eltoro, I want to have a little fun with you on your experience. 3 years in the Southeastern Conference. there's always, we get into this off-season time and people always want to talk about where's the toughest places to play. What are the toughest stadiums to play in? You've played in the toughest league in America. You've played in some of the toughest stadiums in America. So I want to talk for just a few minutes about the toughest places you played at. And because I think that'll be a fun conversation, because this isn't just us rating it. This is lived experience for you. Before we get to it, let me tell you about Meacham Marketing Company. They're at meachammarketingco.com, and they're a full-service marketing company, and they're really cool people. I know, Eltoro, you were just out there meeting with them the other day. Creativity, innovation, a little bit of fun. They help businesses grow through strategic marketing and compelling visual storytelling. They do graphic design, social media management, web design, videography, photography, drone services, print marketing, digital marketing. If you are a business looking for marketing solutions, meachammarketingco.com is where you want to go. Okay, Eltoro, tell me about some tough stadiums, brother.
Jay, the number one stadium has to be Death Valley. Death Valley at LSU, not Death Valley in South Carolina. Death Valley, LSU, Louisiana, man. I mean, it's just one of the most hostile environments I ever experienced, in my time, during my time of playing, man. Like, and it doesn't start when you get on the field, Jay. It starts when you arrive. When you arrive, you have the fans shaking and rocking the bus. I mean, you have fans flicking you off. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy. Death Valley is definitely the toughest stadium that I played in. Now, and I'm gonna tell you this: I was on the defensive side of the ball. Now, I could hardly imagine the offensive side. Because that's when they get loud. And, you know what I mean. And so they get really loud. I got lucky on that end because they can't get too loud because I'm going against the offense. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, it's hostile, Jay. It's hostile in Death Valley. It's Death Valley for a reason.
There was a game in Death Valley against Auburn in 1988, I believe, and before your time. And Tommy Hodson was the LSU quarterback, and he literally throws a touchdown to win the game with like just seconds left, right? And when he threw that touchdown pass, the crowd roar that happened registered on campus on a seismograph as a small earthquake. So that's how loud Death Valley can get.
Yeah.
So, all right. So what else? You had number one at Death Valley. Give me another one.
Tennessee Volunteers, man.
Oh, really?
Man.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Rocky Top, Knoxville. Oh, wow, man. Yeah, definitely, man. Now, I mean, they are some really tough fans, man. I tell you, man. You know what I mean? So that stadium had to be number two. Number three, I have to go with Mississippi State. Mississippi State.
I was wondering if you were going to say that, because I've been to games in Mississippi State. I've been to Knoxville too. By the way, great fan experience in Knoxville because you got the Vol Navy down there, the river's right back there, and people pull up on their boats. They're cooking shrimp. You could just have a great time. Starkville, the cowbells, man.
Yeah,
the cowbells.
Oh, definitely, and they get loud, and they are used throughout the whole game, man. Like, it's crazy, man. And I'm gonna tell you that thing, man. Mississippi State, believe it or not, Jay, they are really a tough team to play at home. They are really, really tough. And so those guys, man. Mississippi State, Starkville, that's a pretty tough stadium as well.
Yeah, I like I said, I've been to games there too, and it's not like Tennessee. You got 102,000 people or whatever. Starkville's not that. It's not that size stadium, but man, they get loud and they get raucous, and they pack it out every week. It's a good atmosphere, no question. You got somebody else for us?
Number four, I have to go with. I have to throw Ole Miss in there, man. I throw Ole Miss in there. Yeah.
Okay. So the Grove, obviously you didn't get to go hang out at the Grove as a player, but there is plenty of bourbon aflowing at the Grove, and other stuff too. But yeah, Ole Miss is a good one. I noticed you haven't said one yet. I'm waiting. Number 5.
Well, I'm gonna give you number 5. I'm gonna give you what you want, Jay, and I'm gonna be honest with you, Jay. And I only played there one time, Jay. And it was rough in the first half, but I didn't have them as my top because when the second half came around, Jay, you really didn't hear much. And that's the Alabama Crimson Tide up there in Tuscaloosa, Jay. They was my first experience there. All right. It was very, it was very chaotic, man. Cam knew my roommate, man. They did some things to him, as we walked on the field, throwing the money and the signs, and they had all this stuff going on, Jay. They were so loud when the score was, 24-7, and we're going in at halftime, and oh my goodness. But the second half, Jay. I don't know what happened to him, Jay. So that's why I don't have that stadium as a top 3 of my college football experience, Jay.
I get it. I get it. I do get it. I remember that game very well. I told you this, and a funny story about that game. I'll share it here because I haven't told it, on the show or anything. But I have a dear friend who was best man at my wedding, played at Alabama in the late 60s, older guy. And we talk at halftime of just about every Alabama game. I just want to see what he's thinking, right? So I called him at halftime of that game. It was 24-7. First thing he says to me, "We're going to lose this game." I said, "You're going to lose this game?" He goes, "It's already lost. I might as well turn the TV off." I was like, he's like, "We 2 chances to put them away. And we didn't do it."
Gene Chizik had a great speech at halftime, and he really put some things in perspective, what I'm saying, to make us, to help us keep the faith and belief in coming back and winning. And that's when he told us all, he said, "Listen, guys, that touchdown before half was crucial, because we got the ball back in the second half, Jay." And here's what he said. He said, he looked at the offense. He said, "We're going to score a touchdown. We're going to go out there, we're going to score a touchdown, and we're only going to be down 10 points. That was enough, Jay. That was enough, to give us to continue to give us the faith and the courage to keep fighting and come back and be victorious, Jay."
Yes. Look, it was a great win, man. Can't take anything away from that.
This was a prime Nick Saban era too, Jay. I think you had the Mark Ingrams, the list just goes on. Julio Jones, Orlando McClain part of that team.
You're what year? 2010? No, he was gone in 2010.
He was gone in 10. So we had Hightower.
You did have.
We had Hightower. Yeah, we had Trent Richardson. Anyway, they were stacked, Jake. They were stacked, man. Great team. Yeah.
All right. There it is. Eltoro's top 5 environments that he played in the SEC. To me, that's a lot more interesting than some writer going, "These are the 5 toughest places." Because if you hadn't played in them, you really don't know. All right. It's That College Football Show. We appreciate you guys watching. You know what we would appreciate as well? Hit that subscribe button down there. Hit the like button. Leave a comment. And share the show with somebody. Look, if you love somebody that loves college football, share the show with them. Let them know about it. We would appreciate it very much. Coming up, we got to talk. We're not going to do our top 10. We're not going to do our playoff picks. We're not going to do our top 25. We are going to do our excellent 11. And here's the way this is going to work. We're going to randomly pick who goes first. It's going to be Eltoro tonight. And we're going to pick the number 1 team through the number 11 team. And why 11? Because there's a G6 team that's going to slide into the playoffs. So the top 11 from the Power 4 are going to get in. So it's our excellent 11. And this will be our official That College Football Show excellent 11 when we finish. Eltoro, random draw. You get to go first, man. Before we start, thank you to Chanel Comfort Cooling and Heating. You see the logo down there with the phone number. If you're anywhere in the central Alabama area, they do a great job with residential heating and cooling. HVAC problems are bad problems, and they can get real expensive. But they can help you out, whether it's a full system replacement or just a repair. Chanel Comfort Cooling and Heating. You see the number down there on the screen. Give them a call if you're in need of those services. They'll help you out at a really fair price. All right, Eltoro, you get to pick the first ever that CFB show #1 team in the excellent 11. Who you got?
Georgia Bulldogs, Jay, without question.
Yeah, I don't hate that at all. I think Georgia is. I think I've got two or three that I'm thinking about, but yeah, I don't hate it. All right, #2 is my pick. I'm going to take the Oregon Ducks. I think that defensive line is going to be the best in college football this year. I think the offensive line is going to be top 5 in college football this year. I think the quarterback's a first-round draft pick. I think I have one concern on Oregon, and it's the same concern I have for Texas A&M, and that is that they lost both coordinators, and in both instances, they promoted from within. That always makes me nervous. But this is, I think, the most talented team that the Oregon Ducks have had in the history of their program.
Wow.
And if they can't get it done this year, I don't know. It's year 6 for Lanning. You know when Kirby Smart won his first national title?
6.
Year 6. There you go. All right, #3, Eltoro. That's your pick. Who you got?
Texas Longhorns, man.
Yeah, it's so much talent. So much talent. It's hard to get away from it. The talent is just, man, they can go.
Oh, absolutely.
If Arch Manning develops into the quarterback that everybody thinks he can be, then Texas is probably #1. But I got to see it, right? I got to see it from jump. I got to see it against Ohio State. #4 is my pick. Speaking of Ohio State, there's just so much talent, man. I mean, they're so good. And I will say this for Ryan Day, the guy runs it like an NFL franchise. In fact, I don't think it's a mistake or an accident that he's got 2 NFL coordinators right now. He runs it like an NFL franchise. They develop players. They bring in from the portal. Primarily, they like to develop their guys. And then they plug holes in the portal. And then they just win and win and win and win and win. And I expect them to win a lot again this year. I got Ohio State at 4. You got #5, brother.
Give me the defending national champions, man. Give me Indiana.
I don't hate it. In my list, I didn't have Indiana quite this high because I'm not sure that Josh Hoover is just going to be Fernando Mendoza, right? There were 2 or 3 games last year, Ohio State, the Penn State game, 2 or 3 games last year where Fernando Mendoza had to pull one out of the hat, man. A late drive here, big touchdown pass there. And that ability to rise up when you've got to have it, not every quarterback has that. And that's not coaching. You can't teach that. You're either clutch or you're not. I can't coach you to be clutch. Mendoza had it. Josh Hoover turned the ball over a lot before he came to Indiana. We'll see if they can coach that out of him. But yeah, in Indiana at 5, I mean, they're the defending champs, man. You gotta put some respect on their name.
And that schedule, Jay, they're gonna get that.
Yeah, all right, quick Indiana story. I took some fire this week on Facebook. Did you see it?
Oh yeah, Jay. Absolutely.
There's a guy named Ben coming after me about criticizing Indiana for dropping Virginia and Notre Dame.
Right.
And let me just say this to Ben if he happens to watch this episode. I was right, Ben. And he made the comment to me that how did he put it? He said, well, why would you want to play harder games? Ohio State's playing Texas this year. They played them last year. After that, Ohio State has a 2-year home and home with Alabama. Okay. Michigan, 2-year home and home with Oklahoma. They've got big games in the future. Alabama's got, when they scheduled Florida State was coming off 13-0 season. I don't think anybody knew it was going to crater the way it has. But then they've got Ohio State for 2 years. They got Notre Dame after that for a 2-year home and home. So here's my advice to the Indiana fan who gets mad when I criticize you for not scheduling any decent opponents in the non-conference. You just won a national championship. You're at the big boy table now. It's time to schedule like a big boy. Ohio State, Texas, Alabama, Georgia, they schedule like big boys. If you want to sit at the table, then you got to eat your vegetables. You know what I mean? I'm just gonna put that right there. That's for my buddy. That's for my buddy Ben. I love you, man. I love the interaction. It wasn't nasty or anything. It was just I didn't understand that. Why would you want to play harder games? Because I'm a fan. I want to see good football games, man. All right, number 6 is my pick. I got a couple I'm looking at. I am going to go with the Notre Dame Fighting Irish.
I like that.
In the state of Indiana.
I like it.
I like Marcus Freeman a lot, even though he's a little bit like Kalen DeBoer. He always loses one that you didn't see coming.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why. But Notre Dame, I mean, I mentioned earlier, Leonard Moore is the best corner in college football this year. CJ Carr may wind up being the best quarterback in college football this year. They lost their top 2 running backs, but they've got dudes, and they've got offensive linemen, they've got defensive linemen, and their schedule sets up really nicely too. So I think Notre Dame is good enough to win the national championship this year. I think the soft schedule is going to hurt them a little bit when it comes to playoff time because I don't think they're going to be battle tested. But we'll see. I got Notre Dame at number 6.
All right.
That leaves you at number 7, man.
I got the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, I almost took them at 6, but I'm with you. All right, so I think I told you this. In my opinion, there are 7 teams that can win a national championship this year. We just ranked all 7 of them. To me, those are the 7 teams that I'm looking at going, if you told me I can take these 7 or the other 131 teams in college football to win the national title, I'll take these 7.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think they're all like, now somebody's going to underperform. Last year, everybody had Clemson in the top 5.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
Somebody's not going to make it. All right. I like the Miami pick, though. Do you think Darian Mensah takes them to another level?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And Jay, just to backpedal a little bit. I think I know who you may feel like that's not going to, live up to the hype. And I think that team is Indiana for you.
Actually, no.
It's not okay. I know with the quarterback situation and things, but those are gone and things of that nature. So I just had a feeling, Jay.
I don't think Indiana is going to win the national championship, but I think they could.
Okay.
But I got questions about Josh Hoover in that offense, and we'll see, how that works out. But I do expect them to be in the playoffs, and I do expect them to compete for it. But I've got a team in there that I think could drop 3, maybe 4. We're not going to talk about it tonight, though. All right, number 8. Number 8 is back to me now. Okay, so Miami is now off the board. Notre Dame's off the board. My number 8 team. I'm struggling with a couple of different things here. I am going to go with the Texas Tech Red Raiders.
I love it, Jay. I love it.
I think they're good. I don't think they're going to be as good as last year. But they play in the Big 12. The toughest team in the Big 12 is BYU, and they don't play them in the regular season. They wouldn't have to play them until the Big 12 championship game. Their toughest game is probably Houston in week 3. And they get that game at home. So it's possible Texas Tech could drop a game somewhere, but I think they're going to be favored in every game they play. And
Jay, the game they drop is got to be in the championship game for the conference. I just don't see them. I mean, like I don't see them. I'm with you, Jay. They should be favored in every single game. Well, will be favored in every single game.
And I think the weakness of the schedule is going to keep them from being like ranked 3 or 4. But it's going to be enough to get them in the playoff. So
I agree.
All right, number 9, headed back to you, buddy.
Number 9, Jay, I got Ole Miss Rebels.
Interesting. I did not have them on my list, believe it or not.
Ole Miss Rebels, Jay.
Look, I told you the other night when we did our season preview for the Rebels, I like Ole Miss a lot. They've got a lot of parts, a lot of pieces. I think they actually improved their defense this offseason.
Yes.
I think it's going to be better. And that's something that Lane didn't really care a lot about. But Pete Golding does. And I think with Trinidad and what he can do, I can see it. I think they're going to come up a little bit short this year, but I can definitely see it.
Don't leave out Lacey.
No. Kewan Lacey's the truth,
yeah.
man. I mean, that dude's a player. That dude's a baller.
Yeah.
All right. So that means number 10 goes to me. I'm going to surprise you here, I think. The University of Southern California Trojans.
Mm.
All right, people are going to think I'm nuts. Stop and hear me out. They get to host Ohio State this year. Okay, they've got a tough schedule. USC's got a tough schedule. But a couple of their toughest games they get at home, right? All they got to do to be at number 10 is go 10-2. That's all they got to do. They can drop 2 games and still be number 10. I'm going to say this now because I want it on the record. Jaden Mayava, the quarterback at USC, might win the Heisman Trophy this year. And I want to say that on the record. Dude had 24 touchdowns, 10 picks last year, 3,700 yards. He's 6'4", 230. I mean, he is one of the best quarterbacks that Lincoln Riley's had. And Lincoln Riley won a Heisman with Kyler Murray, won a Heisman with Baker Mayfield, won a Heisman with Caleb Williams. I think Jaden Mayava, with an improved offensive line, which I think they have, and I think the defense will be a little better. I think Jaden Mayava could win the Heisman this year and get this team to the playoff. So I'm going to take USC at number 10.
I like it, Jay.
That gives you the last pick in our excellent 11, our first ever playoff rankings on this here program. Eltoro, who you got?
Jay, if everything's Jay, Jay, I have to go with the LSU Tigers.
I'm not surprised. I think a lot of people are going to have them higher than that. I think
I have to go with them, Jay.
I think 11 is fair. I think BYU could be talked about in that spot. I think A&M could be talked about in that spot. I think Oklahoma could be talked about in that spot.
Mm-hmm.
I think Alabama could be talked about in that spot. And I certainly understand with everything that Lane has, all the excitement around the program. I can, like I said, man, I don't hate it. All right, the LSU Tigers. So there it is, man. The first ever That College Football Show Excellent 11 rankings. Number 1, Georgia. Number 2, Oregon. Number 3, Texas. Number 4, Ohio State. Number 5, Indiana. Number 6, Notre Dame. Number 7, Miami. Number 8, Texas Tech. Number 9, Ole Miss. Number 10, USC. And number 11, LSU. You feel good about that?
Man, I love that list, Jay.
I think it's a good list, man. and you know what? 2 of them will probably finish 7 and 5.
Yeah.
All right, Eltoro, Freeman, former Auburn national champion linebacker. I'm JJ. That College Football Show. Hey, if you watched the whole episode tonight, thank you. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, leave a comment. All the stuff. You can follow us on any social media at That CFB Show. And you'll find us all over there, growing really fast. And we thank you so much for that. Eltoro, been a fun show, man. We got to do some rankings, got to some season previews.
Oh, yeah,
now
man. We got to talk about a lot.
Yeah, now we just got to see what's going to happen for the rest of fall camp, right?
That's right, Ray.
All right, man. Eltoro, Freeman, once again, thank you, my friend. Have a great night, bro.
Same to you, bro.